internationally recognized speaker and trainer is someone that you deserve to know. Why? Because Casey Eberhart has connections. He's made it his mission for over the years to collect and connect. He collects relationships and connects people so that they can do business together. And the reason why is because today customers want to connect. So in today's strategic conversation, we will give you the how-to blueprint to increase your influence, building relationship with influencers in your area almost on autopilot. We're going to discuss the 7 strategies that you can use right now, right after the show is done, to grow your business. We're going to talk about the 5 must people that you have to talk to in every event. And best of all, we are going to give you the exact formula that Oprah is using consistently to be referred to as the most powerful woman in the world. So you don't want to miss this show. Join us right now. Hop into imthatgeek.com/live. We're going to get started. Welcome to imthatgeek.com. I'm That Geek Show. I am your host, Ifat Cohen, and today we are talking about the new currency, which is connection and connecting with people. And our speaker and guest today is Casey Eberhart. Hey, Casey.
Good morning, afternoon. How are you today?
Fantastic. I'm so excited to have you because it's very rare that I meet someone who's on the exact wavelength as I am. And it's so wonderful that in this age of technology, we are talking about connecting with people. And what I love about the conversation that you and I are going to have is that technology up until now has been used to separate us, right? We're looking at our Facebook feeds, on our Instagram feeds, LinkedIn, everywhere, and everybody's like trying to up each other. I'm doing better than you, better than you, better than you. But there is a way to use technology to connect with people and bring them together. And you are coining this as the new currency, not attention, not retention, not marketing, but connectivity. So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, Yvonne, here's the thing. At the end of the day, you are exactly spot on. Technology has leveled the playing field for a lot of people. It's allowed, the mom and pop entrepreneur to compete in a big space with the big box brands, where up until the last 10 years, we never really had that big of a shot at. We never really even had a shot. And now with the technology, it's compressed the learning curve. It's compressed the ability to reach out and talk to and get in front of a potential customer. But sometimes it lacks the connectivity that bridges the gap between somebody just learning about our product, good, or service and actually purchasing or investing their time, energy, and money in consuming or using the product that we use. So it's really about getting back to kind of that old school hospitality, using and implementing new school technology.
Which I love, because a lot of people completely miss the boat when it comes to using technology to actually connect, and we're using it more to broadcast rather to actually build relationships and conversations with people. So we're going to tap into that. I just want to say hi to a few people who are watching us that Tammy is here, Stacy, Karsten, Valentino. Guys, if you want to jump in and actually speak with Casey face to face without having to travel, this is the link where you're going to kick on. imthatgeek.com/live. Hop on in and we're going to have real-time conversations. So we are going to share so many actionable items today. We're going to share blueprints. We're going to share how-tos. We're going to dive into how to really take advantage of networking offline and online. And we're going to talk about Oprah. So let's talk about Oprah first, because you started that conversation yesterday. And I know a lot of people are like really excited about like, Oprah, I want to be like Oprah. What do I have to do to be like Oprah? So let's talk about Oprah. What do we have to do to be like Oprah?
Yeah, so here's how this kind of all started. It all started sort of kind of in the same way that I think a lot of marketing ideas and a lot of marketing formulas and blueprints sort of start, which is by start asking questions, right?
Yeah.
So every time I would go to an event where I was speaking, I would start off by saying, hey, let me ask you guys, just scream out a name. Who do you think is the most powerful woman in the world? That was how the question started. And what I found was that every single event, it didn't matter whether there was 3 people in the room or 15,000 people in the room, I got the same answer every single time, loud and clear. Oprah was number 1.
Yep.
Followed, of course, by the usual suspects, Ellen, the Queen, Andrea Merkel. You know, if there's a husband and a wife in a room, usually the husband is going to scream my wife's name. But it almost always, Oprah was the number 1 loudest name. And so I just started looking at Oprah and saying, okay, here she's the most powerful woman in the world by like leaps and bounds. She hasn't really been on the air in over 20 years. She had one of the most powerful talk shows, and she's by far and away one of the most influential media icons of our time. So what made her tick? What was the formula? What was the strategy? And what I realized digging deep into her was that her formula was actually very, very simple. It was OPC plus TR equals MC. So let's break that down just to make it really easy. Yep. Essentially, it's OPC, which is other people's content, plus TR, their reach, equals MC, more contacts. So Yvonne, let's just put this in the context of this show, right?
Yep.
You're Oprah. You are using other people's content, in this case, my content.
Yeah.
You're using their reach, which is my reach. And ultimately, there are going to be some folks that I bring to the table that are going to stick around because they think you're absolutely awesome. They've kind of consumed a little bit of your content. They like your style. And you're going to walk away with more contacts. Now, let's say you do 52 shows over a year. You've got 52 influential guests that are bringing their content and their reach to you. Yep. Same thing Oprah did. She would bring on movie stars and TV stars. They would bring their content, in this case, their movie, their reach on social media, because they would say, hey, I'm going on Efat's show or I'm going on Oprah's show. And then some people would stick around through the commercials and become a part of Oprah's book club, so on and so forth. And that's how she's really built up her tribe, is by leveraging other influencers in the marketplace.
I love that you say that. I want to add to that a little bit, because a lot of people think, I cannot have a show. Who am I? Right? Like, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to ask. I'm not, I don't have questions ready in advance and all that stuff. And I know that you're going to know the answer to this one, because I love asking people this question, and I know you have the answer. So what is Oprah's superpower?
I think Oprah's superpower is her ability to make somebody else look amazing.
I love that you say that. It's that, yeah. And the way to do that, right, is by listening. That woman does nothing but listen, right? Ask a question, listen, and respond to the answer that you're saying, like openly, emotionally, cry on stage, right? Really, really connect with people, which is what you're saying. The new currency is connecting, right? And so she's not like very literal journalist who comes up with the most proper questions and knows how to, have a, very highfalutin discussion, right? She comes down to your level, everyday people, and she just talks to you face to face, eye to eye, kind of like on the same emotional level. And so people really connected with her. And so when we're doing these shows, right, these conversations with people, I always say, like, in our overly connected world, we're starving for connection. And so how do we provide that connection, right? Because we're all so busy connecting, using technology, posting, commenting, right? Putting our content out there. And what you're saying is, like, let's take it a step back and actually figure out how to connect with people. And we completely forgot how to do that, right? Like, technology taking it away. People don't know how to listen. We don't know how to talk. And that reflects in networking events, right? When you go to networking events, what do most people do when you go there?
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, when Oprah has a conversation, first off, she's fully present in that conversation.
Yes.
So she's not looking over here to the cue card. She's not looking over here to backstage. She's not looking over here to see if there's somebody better or cooler that she should be talking to over there. Whoever she's talking to, she's really connecting to on both a heart and a brain level. Number two, she's asking lots of questions that the average or the audience is probably thinking of asking, but doesn't have access to the person to ask, right? And so really quickly, before I just quickly move to networking events, when you say, well, I don't know what to say, or I don't know how to do a show, or all of this stuff, it can be as simple as getting in the habit of finding some people that have a bigger tribe than you do and promoting their stuff on your Facebook page. Like, it's that easy. If you find out that EFOT is promoting a new book, go take that link and go promote it on your social media. I promise you that even people with really high levels of influence are watching who becomes ambassadors or raving fans or referral partners of those folks.
Totally.
Well, this can be taken directly to networking events. So first off, the biggest problem with networking events, if we really break it down, EFOT, is everybody there is selling something to a bunch of people that aren't there to buy anything. And the reason those people aren't there to buy anything is because they're mostly there to sell their stuff to the same group of people that aren't buying anything in the first place.
Right.
So the first thing I would recommend is that when you get in your car and you go to a networking event, don't try to sell anything. In fact, ask yourself, what would Oprah do? I mean, like, if you really think about it, do you think Oprah rocks into a Chamber of Commerce event with business cards and brochures and samples of her product and has got a 30-second commercial prepared on how to sell you on her book club? I mean, come on. I mean, the simple blueprint for networking events is just ask yourself, would Oprah be engaged in this conversation? Would Oprah be involved in this process this way? And I think a lot of questions on how to behave at a networking event could be simply answered by that simple question.
Dude, I love that you said that. Because, dude, it's so awesome. Because when you walk in with that mindset, you also have the posture, right?
Totally.
And that changes everything, right? When you walk in with like, I don't need anything out of this. I'm here to, add to the conversation. Changes the entire game.
It changes the entire ball game because the pressure is off.
Yeah.
The pressure is off. Most people are like, I'm going to go to a networking event and I've got my little stack of business cards here and my goal is to hand out 5 business cards or 10 business cards to a bunch of people that aren't going to do anything but throw them in the trash when they get home. But by golly, I've hit my goal, right? It's most people aren't there with intention and purpose. And if your purpose and your intention is there to connect with people and to serve that community, all the laws of reciprocity, all the laws of business, all the laws of connectivity, all the laws that govern the universe and energy around that group start to work in your favor rather than you coming off pitchy or salesy, which incidentally is one of the funniest things to me when people say to me, well, I don't want to go on Facebook Live or I don't want to go to one-on-one appointments because I don't want to sound salesy or I don't want to sound pitchy. But yet then I go and watch them at a networking event and all they do are pitch and sell the entire time.
Yep. And you know what? Let's break this down for a second because there's a different mindset that you have when you are in need, right? In need of a client, in need of sales, in need of cash flow. There's one mindset, and when you go into those networking events with that mindset, then it's a challenge, right? And so a lot of people, when they are stuck in that cash flow, struggle, and they're thinking, okay, I just need to go and meet people and make a few sales and stuff like that. It's self-sabotaging, but it's very hard to get out of the I need mindset and into the Oprah, I got everything covered mindset. So do you have any kind of like a trick or secret that helps you position yourself?
Yeah. So first, I know this will sound kind of counterintuitive, but stop. If that's the mindset, you're better off just staying at home and doing some social media posts, frankly, because nobody's there to buy your stuff anyway. So you've essentially set yourself up for failure straight away. Number 2, that's a very short-sighted strategy. I liken it a little bit to somebody that's playing the game of checkers. where your competition, if done right and is thinking this out, is playing the game of chess. So it's sometimes kind of funny to be able to, and of course, it's sometimes a little bit funny when I think people are playing chess and they barely know how to play checkers.
Yeah.
Right. So that's number one. It's hilarious that I literally undid every piece of technology, and now there's somebody trying to fax me something on a printer number. So,
are you seriously? You're telling me you have a fax machine?
The only reason I have a fax machine is because in one company that I am a part of and run, we do lots of financial documents that apparently they have not figured out how to use DocuSign yet. So. They are not on the technology front, right? So sometimes we have to adapt our own businesses when the outcome meets our criteria, right? I normally wouldn't use a fax machine, but at the end of the day, a company that I make really good money with and profitable, they operate using a fax machine. So I can either walk away from that business and not give them business and not do business with them, or I can adapt to the way that they like to learn and communicate, which is an entire other metaphor for going where our customer is and communicating in the way that the customer wants, not the way that just we want.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So just coming back to this mindset thing, when you walk into a networking event, if you go in with the mindset that you're there to like bag a client or target a client or close a deal, which are all words I just don't like to use because I don't want to be closed. I don't want to be targeted. And I don't want to be hunted.
Right.
So me using that language in my own potential customers is kind of a recipe a little bit for disaster. So if you can figure out how to go to a networking, look, let's back up. If I needed a client or somebody needed a client and you were desperate for a sale or desperate for a client or desperate for a sign up or whatever it is you're selling, perhaps the way to do it would be to go to the networking event, find the organizer, ask the organizer if there's anybody in the room that would be the ideal client for you based on the criteria that you give them, and literally let them walk up and do the warm introduction. So
wait, let's talk about, so I love that you jumping into this because a lot of people might feel that the organizer is like super busy with everything, running the event and stuff, and me going like, hey Casey, awesome event, I'm looking for businesses that need some social media, can you introduce me to someone? That feels like almost taking like interrupting what they're trying to do, and they don't have time to introduce me.
Yeah, it's a great point. So let's back this up just from a pure blueprint or strategy perspective. When you go to a networking event, if you will find the people that are there already with influence and help them get what they want, it's much easier to ask them to help you get what you want, right? So let me give you an example. Normally, when I go to a networking event, for example, I will be the guy that will be helping the organizers set up. I will be helping the organizers if I see them undoing their car in the parking lot and they've got a bunch of books and carts and all that stuff. I'm the guy, even if I'm speaking at the event, like this is even something I do if I'm actually the speaker, I will help those organizers get set up in the room. So I arrive early at every event. I always see if there's some way I can help out, whether it's greeting people at the door, setting up registration, helping them get name tags out, making sure that people are getting registered. I want to be an asset of that networking event before the doors ever even open.
I love
so that when I do go, I go, hey, Aoife, I'm really looking for a social media client, and my ideal client happens to be a plumber. Do you think we're going to have any plumbers here tonight? And you say, well, yeah, Mark from the drain company is going to be here. I'm going to say, oh, awesome. When you see him, if it works, I would love for you to walk up and do a quick introduction. Perfect. But if I've already helped them bring in books, set up registrations, shook people's hands, directed them where to go, set up a banner, the likelihood that they are going to help me is exponentially higher than if I just walk up and go, hey, can you show me who the plumbers are in this group? Like, who wants to deal with that?
I love that. I love the whole place that you're coming from, where it's on service. and helping people, but genuinely helping people, not just be like, okay, fudge, there's not going to be anyone in this thing. Why would I help them, to begin with? I love that. So how do you combine that with don't do anything for free because people will take advantage of you, and actually serving for the purpose of serving and building relationships?
Yeah, I have a very different philosophy, and again, I'm going to go back to this fundamental concept, and that is that connectivity is today's new currency. So I'm not worried about giving away my stuff for free. I'm really not. I'll give away as much as I humanly can. When I'm present in a conversation, I'm present in a conversation. And if I have a piece of knowledge that helps someone move forward in their business, or can help them find a better tool or a better system, I'm going to jump at the opportunity to serve that person, because at the end of the day, I know that if I, for example, share with you 50 ways to help you build your business and you find value in that, are there going to be people that, we call them plate lickers in the financial world, that go to a presentation just for the free meal and listen to the presentation and they don't buy anything, right?
Yep.
But out of 100 plate lickers, there might be 10 that are like, oh my gosh, Case, that was so valuable. If that's what you're willing to give me for free, I can only imagine what the value is of joining your mastermind program. Yep. Right? And so what comes off gross is when you come to me and you and I are talking social media and you go, you know what, Case, I'm really looking for a way to segment my Facebook group and create a friends list on Facebook. I happen to know the answer to that. And I say, Ifat, you know what? I reserve that right to only share that with people that are part of our mastermind program. Well, how does it make you feel? You feel deflated, like you just asked for some help and I then blocked you from helping you.
And you know what? This is fantastic, because that happens in so many masterminds, right? Like, as long as you're part of the family, you're going to be getting what the family members are getting, right? But now you're not worthy of being in the family because you're not chipping in.
Exactly. And it's sort of like, it's sort of a little bit counterintuitive. And at the same time, it's the law of reciprocity. Right. So I just think this idea that people are going to hold people, look, let's use physical products as an example, just to take it off the business coaching service area. The reason sampling works in businesses is because it works. Right?
Yeah.
I go to the grocery store. I have a product in my refrigerator. It is a smoked Gouda hot cheese something, spicy hot, that you put on crackers. Yeah. Okay? I cannot imagine how many tubs of this stuff I have bought over the past couple of years, all because there was a dude handing out samples at the grocery store. I happened to walk by and would have never in 8 million years tried the product. He handed me a cracker. I tasted it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love smoked Gouda cheese. I love something that's spicy. I eat keto, so I got these cheese crisps. This is keto friendly. Like, I'm in. And I bought. The reason that it would be different if he goes, hey, would you like to try this? And I say yes. And then he snaps the lid shut and says, okay, cool. Well, you can go buy a tub for $6.29.
Totally. And you know what? I was in one event. I'm not going to mention names or anything like that. The guy had a Thai company. He was a speaker. He's doing marketing, branding, blah, blah, blah. He has a box of ties that he also sells, right? Produces stuff. The whole event, he's talking about those ties. Nobody buys, right? Really great. One guy stands up and wants to give him a compliment. He's well-dressed. He has a tie. The speaker only cares about, hey, what tie are you wearing? How come it's not my tie? Embarrasses the guest right there and then. Everybody feels bad. Still, nobody buys the ties. So then he walks in with like 6 ties on his arm, and he goes like, who wants a tie? And so people raise their hands. And so he's like, okay, which one do you want? Right. And throws ties into the audience, and then turns around and says, okay, so now when you walk out, make sure you pay for them $100. We're all like, what just happened? right? Like remove all respect for the guy, all the good feeling that you had with like just receiving this gift or something, and being feeling like you've been tricked into getting that. Horrible experience.
There's a word we use in business for folks like that.
Sales oil, sales.
Broke.
Broke.
Or broken, one of the two.
Yeah.
You know, but that's the like look, let's even go back to Oprah's famous show where she gave away 400 cars or 100 cars.
Yeah.
The reason companies will give that stuff away is because they know that somebody of influence talking about that means more than the actual cost of said car.
With advertising, that's right. It's advertising cost,
right?
Yeah.
So you know, it's like people that write books, right? A book, like I can go on 18 hours of tangent of this, but a book is essentially an expensive business card or an expensive sales brochure.
That's right.
So why people think they're going to get rich selling their book for $9 or $10?
Yeah.
Versus writing a book, solving a problem that their customer or their reader would have, and then saying, hey, if this speaks to you, hit me up. I have a mastermind program, or I have a social media course that you can go download, or I have a travel agency that we offer 50% off cruises the first time, whatever it is, and be able to give that book away, far more powerful than you trying to sell one here for $9 and two here for $2. Because look, a book like this is going to run you a couple of bucks at most to print. Give them away like Tic Tacs. Oh, well, people don't value them. Yes, there is going to be some of that. No question.
Yeah. Yeah.
But those aren't going to be your customers anyway. So sometimes it's a little bit of a cost of doing business. Like the guy with the ties, just going back to that. Since I run a physical products business on Amazon, I can tell you that those ties, if he was selling for $100, he's probably paying $2 for, $3 for. He's got a group of them on his arm. So there's $10 there. $10 of cost or $20 of cost, or let's even say at $100 of cost. He hands those ties out to everybody. You guys are all whipped into a frenzy of excited people that are liking those ties. And then he can say, those are my gifts to you guys. Hey, if there's anything I can do to help you look sharper at your next event, or if you have a guy in your life that you think would benefit from one of our amazing ties, I'd love to just as a gift give you all a 50% off coupon. Just go to the website and type in, EFOT as the coupon code, 50%. He would have sold a bunch of ties.
Totally.
Instead, you all thought he was gross.
He was horrible. I actually wrote an article, just to vent. I was like, how to ruin a live event. 6 ways I learned from, because I was like, I'm never going to share it because karma and stuff like that, right? But it was so horrible well,
it's also, it comes off as being desperate.
Totally.
Right. And so the other piece of this is to make sure that your message of whatever product, good, or service you sell is congruent with actually who you are. Right. Like, I'm trying to think of it. Let me give you a very easy example. I went to a speed networking event once, right?
Yeah.
And there were a lot of network marketers there. And that's awesome. I love the network marketing profession when it's done properly. So there was a lady that was moving at the pace of a sloth, and she was on the larger side. Okay. And she sat down in front of me, and in 3 minutes tried to sell me a product and sign me up as a distributor. And the product that she was selling, she told me that the benefits were going to be to help me release a bunch of weight and give me a ton of energy. So my follow-up question was, well, how long have you been using the product? And she said 3 years.
Oh my God.
Completely. I was like, well, this does not work. Well, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just about really finding out what that person's wants, needs, and desires are. And if you can't help them, find some way to help them, even if it's not your product, good, or service.
Yes. Amen to that. Which is a few ways that you can start monetizing without slaving and creating courses, without having a product, without having your own group, just by trying to figure out what problem does someone have, and then do you know what the solution is, and you can either be an affiliate or commissions or whatever. Yeah. So before we move on to some of the blueprints, guys, I know you're watching us. So Valentino is here and Stacy Karsten. She goes like, Casey, you're killing me.
Stacy is hilarious. She's awesome. I love Stacy.
Julie Calabrese on Facebook. Jenny Potter.
Jenny
Morelli
Potter.
is on Twitch. And Cool Gamer is on Twitch, and no, Cool Gamer is on YouTube, and Ravity is on Twitch, and we have a few people watching us on LinkedIn, like Katie and Rodriguez. And so what I have to tell all of you guys, you don't have to be just watching us. Come on here and join the conversation. We're going to open it up in a few minutes, and you can just be a part of this and vent with the rest of us about everything that you see marketing and people are doing wrong. So let's dive into a few of the blueprints that we promised. The first one, you have 5 people that we must talk to at live events. The first one you already mentioned, the organizer, and you talked about how to approach them without being sleazy or interrupting their day. Who are the other 4? Who are the other 4?
Yes. Who are the other 4?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? First is math education. No. Okay. So here's the thing. If you go with a servant's mindset, and if you go to an event where you're not going to sell anything and you're truly there to connect with people, then at least connect with the people that are higher likelihood to let some of their influence rub off on you, right? So here they are. Number 1, the organizer. We already talked about that. Number 2, the speaker. Whoever is going to speak at that event, 99% of the time, the speaker is announced way before the event ever starts, right? So I went to an event where Ivan Meisner from BNI was speaking, and I went to the back of the room because nobody was talking to him. Well, I had done my research. I knew what book he was going to be selling. I knew an article he had written in Networking Times. So I just chatted him up, and I was like, hey, is there anything I can do to help you sell more books? He's like, yeah, would you ask me about the Easter Rabbit and the Santa Claus article during the Q&A time? Turns out he started talking about me in the Q&A time way longer than he talked about even the answer. And I was in front of 500 people, and he's now talking about me in front of everybody.
Okay. Pause for a second, because I wanna really hone on this. You before the event, you go and look at all the speakers. You find them online. You reach out to them and say, hey, I'm going to be at that event. How can I help you achieve whatever goal it is that you're having? Because I don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 right? The guy said, yes, help me, ask me a question during my presentation about the book. And when you asked the question, he started talking about you reading the book, or about like what specifically?
So in our conversation ahead of time, he had asked me what company I was with and what I did for a living. And once I told him what I did for a living, then in the Q&A time, when he started talking about me, he went off on an entire tangent about the company that I was working with, and how I was a great representative of the company, and that I stood, and it essentially turned into a sales pitch for me and my company based on me taking 45 seconds to talk about his book when we were standing in the back of the room.
I love it. And just so you know, guys, this works so well because as a speaker, any speaker that goes on stage want engagement from the audience. And so many times, right? You go and you're like, does anybody have, I was on a stage and I was like, how do you guys measure your marketing ROI? Cricket. That's the worst thing that can happen to a speaker. Right? And so, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this can be done. Everybody can do this. So when you go to an event, go on Amazon and buy the person's book.
Yeah.
It's $20. Show up at the event and have a Sharpie and have them sign the book. And then in that conversation, just say, hey, look, I follow what you do. I've already looked at your website. I'm happy to answer any questions. Know that I'm a fan in the audience. So if you get stuck or you need engagement, just look my way and I'm happy to jump in and help you do X, sell more, jump people into back, whatever it is. Because now the speaker has an ally in the room. Yeah. And you and I both know we speak all over the world on this stuff. Like you said, there's nothing worse than being in a room of 500 people and nobody's engaging.
Yeah.
So you guys, here's the opportunity. The opportunity is you be the one that helps that speaker engage. And here's what happens. That speaker 9 times out of 10 is going to highlight you in front of the entire room which is something that you just don't physically have the ability to do in the same way that Oprah saying go buy your book is far more important than you standing up saying go buy my book.
Totally.
We want to leverage other folks. So same with the organizers, same. And then finally, the other three people are Yap Job number 1, Yap Job number 2, and Yap Job number 3. It just means the loud, influential people inside the room. That's all it really means. So when I'm at an event, I'm honing in on those 5 people. I haven't even said what I do for a living. I haven't even said what my ideal customer is. I am there to connect with influencers more than I am trying to sell any one widget.
I love it. And you know, you and I, we probably differ on this because my immediate reaction is like, stay away from these people. You know, if they hate me, they're gonna like destroy my entire business, right?
Yeah.
So you have a way, and we talked about this a little bit before. One of the best ways to strike conversations in networking events is asking questions. And most people don't know what to ask. Right. So if you go to Yap number 1, how do you strike a conversation so that it ends up them liking you and not going like, that's, you know, another naggy person.
Yep. So this is awesome. So remember, I'm not there to sell anything. Right. I'm simply there to connect. Right. I'm simply there to make other people look amazing and awesome. Well, the best way I know how to do that is to get them talking about themselves. If I get somebody to talk about themselves and I can keep them focused on talking about themselves and not let them divert the attention back to me, turns out they all think I'm rad. Right? So I happen to use a formula. It's very old school. I like to say I'm low tech, big check. I use an acronym form, FORM, and I'm going to stick in one of those 4 categories. I'm either going to ask about their family, their occupation, their recreation, what they do for fun, or how business is, or money. So family, occupation, recreation, money. And I usually carry a Sharpie with me at all times. I have their business card in front of me, and I'm just writing notes on their business card because I'm going to do follow-up later on. So if I'm talking to Ifan, I'm going to, so Ifan, you know, that's a really interesting name. Where are you from? Oh, well, I'm from Pacoima or wherever.
I'm from Israel.
Right?
Pacoima,
right.
I like
Israel.
that.
That's really interesting. So what brought you over here? Did your family come over here when you were young? Tell me the story.
Right. And,
Right?
I will say, well, how much time do you have, Casey?
Exactly. And hey, Ifat, if we don't finish up here, what I'd love to do is I'd love to like grab a cup of coffee, or I do a little podcast show, or I do a little live show. I'd love to actually interview you about your story, because I find people that, you know, immigrate over here or whose family are immigrants and come over here, I find those interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, you know, how long you been doing this?
Well, do you remember when Google Plus came to me and you would say, Google what?
Exactly. Exactly. So I get them asking questions. And here's the funny thing about Yap Jobs. They are labeled Yap Jobs for a reason. They talk.
Yeah.
All I'm doing is spoon feeding them a platform for them to talk about how awesome their stuff is, because now they're selling, and now I can position myself as a buyer, which makes me look even more interesting to that person.
So do you ever feel like you have to buy from them in order to remain the topic of their affection, if you will?
It's a great question. I actually literally have it on my notes here. If I think that a person is going to be a long-term relationship, and I want to be the first one that takes a step forward in moving that relationship beyond just a networking event, then I'm absolutely going to buy their product.
Regardless of whether you need it or not, right?
Yeah. I mean, because here's a little secret, helpful hint from Heloise. If you buy something that you don't need, you can go back and dump it on Amazon or dump it on eBay and recapture a little bit of the money on something. So it costs you actually a little bit less, but the amount of capital or social capital or connection capital that you can create far outweighs 50 or 60 bucks worth of some product that you may or may not need.
Totally.
Right. So I'll give you another example. I do not, as a core value, as a core principle, as an entrepreneur, okay, I do not buy a product from a store that I could buy from a network marketer, direct seller, or a small home-based business or entrepreneur. Okay, so if I need a candle, I can go to Bed Bath & Beyond, aka buy, break, and return. I I can go buy a candle there all day long. If I need a candle, I can go buy a candle there. However, if I go to a networking event and I meet somebody there that's in a direct sales or a network marketing company that sells candles, I'm going to always opt to support that person because I'm an entrepreneur as well. And I want to be able to play the game of being in the entrepreneurial space. Is it going to cost me a couple extra bucks? Maybe, but I've now shown that I'm a good customer. I have promoted and supported somebody in my network. And in fact, because I go on the premise that connectivity is today's new currency, I'm going to probably take that candle seller and promote her or him on social media. I'm going to see if I can do I'm going to do everything to deepen that relationship with that person. And heck, if that means I get a candle and I'm allergic to the smell, for example, I can either give the candle away or sell it on eBay or whatever. But the end game of me supporting other folks in the business or in business far outweighs buying something I don't need.
Totally. This is fantastic because what you're doing is you are not just shaping the way conversations are going, relationships, but you're shaping the entire mindset around business, where it's not what do I get first, it's how do I help other people, and by helping Zig Ziglar, right? You can have anything you want in your life as long as you help other people have what they want in their life.
Absolutely. Well, I'll give you a perfect example in real time. As we were talking, I was just thinking about this actually happened. Mm-hmm. So I went to a networking event once and there happened to be a Mary Kay rep there. Yep. Okay. And the Mary Kay rep stood up in the room and she was selling peppermint foot cream. I remember this like it was 20 minutes ago.
Okay.
And everybody there in her 30-second commercial, of course, nobody was listening to her 30-second commercial. She said, I only have one tube. I think she called it a tube, one tube of this or one bottle of this. If anybody's interested, it's $50. Well, right there in the middle of her 30-second commercial, I just raised my hand and said, sold. I bought it. Now, did I need peppermint foot cream? No. Am I a Mary Kay rep? No. Do I have any interest in becoming a Mary Kay rep? No. But what ended up happening, that $50 purchase, first off, it made a great gift. It made a great gift for my mother because I just wrapped it up and gave it to my mom. So that was cool. But what it did was it showed everybody in the room. It broke the seal of doing business with somebody in the room. And the funny thing is she was so taken back that I would just buy it on the spot that she actually ended up joining our mastermind program, which was a much larger purchase and investment than a $50 tube of peppermint foot cream.
I love it.
But most people would go like, I don't need foot cream. Oh, I don't want to hear from Mary Kay. They're just going to try to sell me a pink Cadillac or whatever their chitter chatter is. And they don't think about how to support an entrepreneur because they're there selling their stuff to everybody.
That is so, it's so brilliant. It's so brilliant because, I'm taking this personally because I would be the person going like, another pitch from a Mary Kay person. So I love how you're changing my mindset of thinking,
Well, Aoife, let's break this down. Let's take this one nerd step. Let's geek out on this for a second.
Let's geek out.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
So check this out. So what do we know? And this is not a dissertation on the network marketing profession. This is just reality, right? Mm-hmm. So here's the deal. Somebody says, "Oh, that's another pitch for a Mary Kay product." I get that. You've heard 12 trillion of them. I get it. I get it. However, what does a Mary Kay rep represent long term? In order for them to make money, they need to create a vast network of people that either buy from them or represent Mary Kay.
Right. Yes.
You, in that case, apparently don't want access to that network. I, however, am willing to invest $50 in having a crack at being introduced into that network. And in fact, taking it a half step further, that same lady who I bought the peppermint foot cream from happened to run a very large network of Mary Kay reps and had me actually come speak at her event where I then got to sell my additional products, all because I invested $50 in a tube of peppermint foot cream that I didn't even need.
I love it.
So 99% of people are going to walk away going, it's another pitch. I don't need that. I look at it and go, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity to support another small entrepreneur, another micropreneur, another somebody that's got access and influence inside of a network. I'm in all the way.
And you're coming out as the best son to your mother because you're giving her this awesome work. So double whammy. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's such a different perspective to everything that we're doing online. And it's definitely what, if we're talking Oprah, definitely Oprah.
Let me give you another tiny little teeny tiny example. I'm going to use a brand name here. I'm just giving everybody fair warning. I love the Arbonne shave gel. Okay. I've used it for years. It is the most, for guys, if you're not using the Arbonne shave gel, this is a blatant pitch for Arbonne shave gel. Okay. When I need a new bottle of shave cream or shave gel, I literally go on Facebook and do a Facebook Live and go, oh my gosh, I need Arbonne shave gel. Connect up with my friend Deanna. She's the one I buy it from. She's absolutely awesome. Can't wait to get it. I just promoted her. She sells more shave gel that way. So she sends me the tubs of shave gel. And then I go on Facebook and I do another Facebook Live going, guys, listen, this is awesome. Go buy this now. Now, do I think that a bunch of folks are going to run around and go because little old me says buy this shave cream that they're going to go buy shave cream? No, but the person listening to that message is Deanna, the one that reps the entire vast network that I'm now going to be like the hero in because I've simply helped somebody else out. I can go to CVS and buy Barbasol or Edge or any of that other shave gel, but that's just one way where we can impact the lives of business owners. Deanna's been a client of mine for years in almost everything I've ever sold, all because I promoted and helped her sell a few bottles of shave cream, for crying out loud.
And you know what's nice about that? Because you're giving me the chills. At our deathbed, right? We don't think about the money and all that stuff. We think about the life that we touched. And one of my clients, her father was a shoemaker. And when he died, there was a line 3 blocks long of people who just came to say goodbye because he affected their lives, right? And she goes like, okay, what's your 3 blocks long? Right? How are you affecting people's life? In what way? And we're going out of our way to do all these food banks, right? And give away cans and all that stuff. And you're practicing this in your daily life by helping small business owners, one sale at a time, one word at a time, one connection at a time, actually improve their life and make a real impact. So that is fantastic. It's amazing, Casey.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. It really comes down to a core value that my granddad taught me when I was really young. And that was to, if you always give more value than is expected, everything else works itself out.
Yeah.
And so I learned that lesson as a kid. I sold a couple of things out of his antique store. And when I went to put the product in the lady's car, I opened the door for her to get out of the store. I opened the door for her to get in her car. I went in and I seat belted the thing in the back seat of the car. And then I opened the door for the driver or the passenger. And the passenger was so taken back that she tipped me $20 just because I was a nice kid.
Yeah.
That was for me the light switch of the snap and the transformation that allowed me to really see that you can create massive value by really just kind of being cool and being nice to people.
And you know what? Nowadays, I think that's the biggest gift that you can give anyone because we are all walking around with this like paranoid look on our faces.
Yeah.
And like the feeling that everybody's just going to take something away from us. And here comes someone who goes like, hey, let me help you carry your books. Right?
You know, like to me, it's inconceivable to be at a restaurant with a client or a prospect and not pay. It's inconceivable to me, whether they buy from me or not.
Yeah.
It is inconceivable for me to watch someone struggle getting in and out of an event. It is inconceivable for me to look over in the corner and see somebody that is clearly uncomfortable or brand new or never met people at this event and not walk over and shake their hand and say, hey, how can I help? Who can I introduce you to? Remember, you guys, connectivity is today's new currency. He or she or the brands or the companies that are most connected to their customer base will always win the game. I wore this shirt for a reason. If you're listening and you can't see the shirt, it's a black shirt and it has sunglasses on. I literally have my sunglasses here. I'm putting them on because at the end of the day, the brands, the companies, the people, the managers, the sales reps that are out shaking hands, kissing babies, really connecting and engaging, the future is super bright. Yep. For those brands and companies that think that it's just going to be easier to hide behind an email or hide behind a commercial or hide behind some faceless brand name, it's becoming more and more difficult. And I think that's just going to continue as we go through the marketplace.
I totally agree with you. I think automation, bots, AI, all that stuff, they're taking the human element out of our interactions. And once we have that, once the robots takes our job, right? And we have all this free time, what are we going to do? We are going to connect and engage and socialize with each other. And if you don't have those relationships now, it might be too late. Who knows, right? Like,
yeah.
I
mean, and it can be something as simple as, you meet somebody at one of these networking events, take a selfie with them and text them the picture and say, hey, thought you and I met at the Sherman Oaks Chamber of Commerce. Looking forward to connecting with you. And you go, and then someone's going to say, oh, but I don't know how to get their phone number. And then so they won't do that. Here is the international sign. If you're listening, I have my phone in my hand. The international symbol for put your phone number in is to just stick your phone in front of you. The other person will take it and literally put their phone number in.
It's true.
Now what I do is I take that picture now that it's on my phone, and now I post it on social media after I connect with them, and I say, hey, I met Ephod at this great event. You guys ought to check out her book now, or her show. Now I'm promoting her, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it into some sort of system or tool. I love a tool that can make customized, personalized gifts. So somebody might get a coffee mug with their name on it, or they might get some brownies with their name on it. Now I have somebody in social media. I have them in a text version. I have them in their mailbox, not just their inbox. I send them an email. Now I've touched them 4 different ways. Now, Ephod, going back to our earlier conversation, you're like, I don't want to talk to those obnoxious people at a networking event. Yeah. Let's go back and replay that same event and go, okay, so I met this yap job who's talking all about himself or herself. I did get enough to take a picture. I texted her the picture. I connected with her on social media. I sent her a box of brownies saying it was fantastic to meet you. And I sent her an email saying, hey, it was fantastic to meet you at this event. Now, what happens the next event when I walk into that room? My goal is to just go stand next to her, because you know what she's going to do? She's going to yap. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Casey, it's so awesome. You sent me these brownies and I got this card and it was this amazing mug, blah, 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 blah. She's now selling me without me having to open my mouth. Which is amazing. So I want to ask you a question about that in just a second, but Elizabeth is here waiting quietly to join the conversation. So let me let her hop in for a second, and then I'm going to ask you I'm going to ask you so I don't forget, and then we'll come back to that. So what I want to ask you is all the way up to the second point where you meet that yapper, you haven't told her what you're about. You're just promoting her and helping her. And so when she's talking about you, how is she selling you? We're going to keep that as a cliffhanger. Let Elizabeth chit-chat with us. And there we go. Elizabeth?
Hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you're here. So,
Casey, it's super nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for spending part of your day with us.
It was great. What I really appreciated was you reframing the whole network marketing thing, because I don't always have the best opinion of them, but you're right. They are a vast network of connections. And really, is it going to kill me to buy a pair of leggings from them as opposed to going to Walmart? No, it's not.
Well, yeah. And Elizabeth, the name of the profession is network marketing, meaning that they market to a network.
Yes.
So as we try to increase our influence, I want access to that network that they are marketing, because by and large, if I do things really awesome, maybe they will introduce me into that network.
Yeah, that was a real mind changer for me. One question I did have for you. So I do live boot camps. People fly out to Vegas and we work for 3 days on a book, on a TED Talk, on starting their podcast. Things are going pretty good so far, but do you have any suggestions for doing this kind of connection marketing for these kind of events? Because I'm not having a lot of luck with in-person connections like that.
Yeah, I mean, the same kind of fundamentals, Elizabeth, would apply online as well. So if I were in your shoes and I was looking for people as attendees to come, what I would look for is and do you do these events just by yourself, or do you bring in other speakers to kind of help train?
I have my partner, and then we have a podcast expert, and that expert changes every event.
Okay, fantastic. So what I would do first is I would look for who the actual customer is, and then I would look for who has influence over that particular audience, right? So if somebody is gonna, well, they want to be a speaker or an author or they want to do a TED Talk, that's a very niche thing. I would never go to probably a live networking event at my local chamber, in Vegas at the Hard Rock or whatever over that, because those aren't your peeps.
No.
Your people are the people that are hanging out in Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups called like how to be a speaker, or I want to sell more stuff, or hey, I have a podcast that's getting only 2 downloads every 2 years. And I would look and I would craft the message of what do those folks want, right? So in this case, if you're going to do a TED Talk as a speaker, that's a huge thing, right? Or as a speaker, it's why is somebody doing a TED Talk? Why is somebody doing a podcast? Why is somebody writing a book? Well, ultimately, they either think it's ego and they're just so amazing, or they're a rock and roll singer who can't sing, whatever that is. Let's give them content to help them. 15 ways to increase the downloads of your podcast. Give it away.
I like that.
The 7 things that you must include in a TED Talk to ensure that it gets promoted. Right?
That's awesome, because what I've been doing has been like how-tos, like how to write a book, how to write a TED Talk, how to create your podcast.
But you're making more work for me.
Exactly. I'm not thinking I should be, okay, yeah, okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's about help me go part of the journey by myself, so that then I want to come to your venue in Vegas. Right? Like at the end of the day, why would I come to Vegas? What do I walk away with a podcast in the can? Do I walk away with a TED Talk? Then sell me on the idea that, look, you can come to Vegas and between gambling, you're going to get some stuff done, and you're going to walk out of here with your sizzle reel, or walk out of here with your first episode of podcast, or walk out of here with your TED Talk framed out. That's where you're going to draw those folks in. I would, we're not going to have time to dive too into this, but I would use Meetup as a massive way to build an audience, especially in Vegas, because you guys are so transient out there. It's a great space to play. And I would do a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group for people that want to be speakers or podcasters, or business owners that understand fundamentally why building an audience is huge, but don't really get the practicalities of why or the how to.
Okay, I like that.
Does that make sense?
That does. Having someone who's not mired in the muck take a look or give me some advice, that was helpful. That was awesome.
And Elizabeth, I'll give you one more, and I think this is relevant for everybody in business. And that is, our customers are scared to do business with us. When we first meet them, they are scared to do business. They don't know how we take credit cards. They don't know if we take Bitcoin. They don't know if we're going to get yelled at. We don't know how the receipts are. So if you were to take the next 3 months and do a daily video on Facebook or YouTube or whatever, taking away the scary for someone you are going to attract a bunch of people that go, oh my gosh, she's really out there to help me. Right? Like as simple as, hey, you guys, when you go off and do a TED Talk, you're going to be on stages. Make sure, ladies, if you're going on stage and you wear stiletto or high heels, that you walk the stage ahead of time and see where the connection boards are on the stage so your heel doesn't fall through the center of it. And if you really need to, take some white tape and go pre-mark the stage up so you know where to stand so you're not going to lose your heel or your shoe and potentially fall. Super simple, easy,
Yeah.
doesn't impact your sales pitch at the Vegas event at all. But now it's like, oh my gosh, this lady's really thought through some of this stuff. That's really valuable.
That's amazing. I love it.
You know, so give tips, give explanation. Real estate, like my friend Rusty's on here, like I just seen his picture, right? I would say to him all the time, like the real estate agents that get on and do video after video after video explaining the terms and the acronyms and the stuff that scares the crap out of people, you take that away, you move people closer to doing business with you. So Elizabeth, ask yourself this, when you're meeting someone, whether it's online and a faceless person or somebody face-to-face, think of there's a big giant block of ice between you and their credit card or you and them. Your job and your only job is to melt that ice cube.
Gotcha.
If you try to refreeze that ice, you're not getting any closer to the sale. You melt that ice cube by building rapport, giving help, answering questions, providing a platform for people to learn and communicate and connect with. All of a sudden they're like, well, who's the go-to gal to get me on a TED Talk? Elizabeth.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been like super helpful and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on.
Great. It was fun. Thank you.
So, and Elizabeth, you and I can do that little YouTube challenge because I'm planning on it.
Okay.
Kathy.
Holding you to it.
Yeah. Kathy Rickley is saying, Elizabeth, I'm in Vegas. I would love to connect. So reach out to her.
And Kathy Rickley is one of, if not the most connected people in all of Las Vegas. I've known Kathy for years and years. If somebody lives in Las Vegas, then they are part of the business community. I promise you, they either know Kathy Rickley or know like 87,000 people that know Kathy Rickley. She's awesome.
And that's the beauty of these shows, right? You're connecting to each other already. I love it. Stacy is saying, hold on a second. She's saying, Casey, your story, the story you just told, I can relate. My son did that last summer and I got a call from an old lady, me thinking, oh, old lady, what did he do? He helped her in the rain with groceries and she didn't tip, but gave me a compliment of how wonderful my son was to help. I love selfless act of kindness like the old days. Yeah, the old days, right? So go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's funny to me how just being nice to people is now referred to as the good old days.
Right.
But we as consumers, we want to be treated a certain way. But yet we have to also, as business owners, take a look and going, what is the experience that our customer is actually having? Right? So, you know, and it's sometimes it's a matter of just auditing your business. We just had this thing where, so we run a business coaching mastermind program and we started to take a look at what our customers were getting out of the program and not getting out of the program. And so we audit that all the time. Every month we go, okay, what can we do to add more value? Are our customers downloading this? Are they participating in the challenges? Are they doing part of the accountability? And we're always adjusting that customer experience because at the end of the day, guys and gals, here's the thing. Birds of a feather flock together. If you turn your best customer into a raving fan and a referral partner, those raving fans and referral partners will bring back people just like them, which are more likely your ideal customer. Treat those folks like gold. Like Yvonne, here's the thing. Oh my gosh, I could go on for hours on this. I know we're running out of time. At the end of the day, here's the scary thing. At the scary thing, sometimes I will stand up in front of a room and I will say, look, if your business relies on word of mouth referrals, stand up. 100% of businesses stand up. I say, now sit down. If you cannot tell me by data, not with I think, but by data, who your top 5 referral sources are, sit down. 99% of businesses will sit down. First off, that scares the crap out of me, thinking that your business relies on referrals and you don't even know who's giving you referrals. Scary point number 1. The few people that will stand up and stay standing, they're usually the smug ones. They're like, oh yeah, I got this. I know exactly who's giving my referral. And I'll say, awesome. If I call that person using your cell phone, will they answer? And when I ask them, what have you done for them lately? They better be able to tell me how you make them feel amazing. If we don't have processes in place to take those raving fans that are going out of their way to make us feel special and to talk about our product and refer us to their friends and family, shame on us if we don't do something to make them feel important, because they'll just go do it for someone else.
And I can give you an example. We were in a course, one of those, fancy $10,000 courses. One of the girls there was like the biggest referral partner, right? Brought in like 10 people with her. Instead of like being rewarded for all that stuff, she was dumped on, shit on, pooped on, right? Whatever you want to call it. She took all those 10 people and another 10 people and moved to another program. And in that other program, same thing. Everybody's at the same table talking about like, why are we here? Because of that one person.
Yep, I'll use myself as a perfect example. And it's funny because I think Rusty, who's on here, actually knows a person. So, but I'm going to use a name anyway. So I am a referral generating machine. When I find somebody I like, I pass tons of referrals. It's just what I do. It's just part of my makeup. So I had a mortgage guy who I, in a course of a year, gave him over 50 leads on mortgages. 20 of them stuck, meaning that he was doing at least 1.5 mortgages per month based on my referrals.
Wow.
Never got a thank you, never got a text, never got a Facebook shout out, nothing. So this went on and on and on. And at some point I needed somebody to become a customer of mine, and it was like $40. This is years ago. It was like $40. I needed to have one more customer to hit some promotion or something.
Yeah.
So I called Dana and I was like, dude, I need you to take a look at this, and I'd actually like you to go buy it for $40. And he was like, yeah, but Case, I don't really need it. And it's $40. And this is going to be a waste of money. I'm like, no, you don't understand, dude. I need you to go buy this for $40. I'm not looking to sell you on it. I'm looking for you to go buy this for $40.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not really my cup of tea. I'm like, okay. Literally a month later, I get a call from him. He's like, yo, dude, what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, look, you're passing me all these leads. And I was like, just dried up. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm like, no, we're done. Like, What are you talking about? And he went, what are you talking about? Don't I service your people right? Yeah. Don't I give them the best rate? Well, you're competitive. Well, what happened? Nothing. And I just went away off into the sunset. And, here's a guy, I've done 56 real estate transactions personally in my career. Did he give up some money? Was he being pound foolish or penny wise and pound stupid? Perhaps. That $40 for me was the same as a peppermint foot cream from earlier conversation.
Totally.
He chose not to invest $40 in a referral source of a raving fan, and ultimately has lost hundreds of thousands of dollars because he just wasn't nice.
And you know what, to me, that's not even friendship. I mean, like, come on, I need your help. Like, be my friend, just do this thing regardless of what I'm sending you, right? I need your help. Come on, step up. But, it's mind-blowing, and it's very sad, and for you, I'm so proud of you, Casey, that unlike me, you haven't lost faith in humanity.
Well, catch me like in an hour.
I know, right? Let's talk about it in another phone call. But it's Jane, like I am now writing off internet marketers because of that type of behavior. I'm like, come on, guys, like, but you are living, and Rusty here going like, no, I'm telling you, he walks his walk, he walks his talk, and he's really genuinely helping people. So it's fantastic that A, you walk your talk, but B, you are spreading that message and affecting people's lives and kind of like, living by example, right? Not just like lip say, but you actually, when people see you and they model you, and that becomes fantastic. So I see Eric here. let him jump in, and then Rusty will jump in and say whatever I want him to say. So let's see what I want him to say. So Eric, let's unmute you. Hey, Eric.
Hey, how are you, Fed? Thanks. And Casey, great stuff so far, man. I'm loving what you're talking about here.
Awesome. Thanks, Eric.
Sure. And listen, one of the question that I have, or the comment that I wanted to make, actually kind of plays off what you were just talking about. Because look, I went to network events for years and I stopped going because I would walk in and it would be, what can we sell you? Right? Nobody wanted to network. Nobody wanted to help anybody. It was all about, what can I sell you?
Yep.
And so I just got frustrated and left. But, we would do different things. But now I'm having a conversation with a partner of mine, and I wanted to get your take on this. And it kind of lends into what you just said. But I'm looking at the people who are in your network, on your list, or you meet day to day, who are takers more than givers. They want the freebies. They're constantly looking for, what's Casey giving away today? What does he have in his thing? How much can I take before you just kind of cut that tie? Because there's could they possibly become a buyer at a time? Are they making referrals, or are they just a time and resource drain? So I want to get your take on that.
Yeah, there are plenty of those folks, Eric, and thank you. It's a great question. So where I find somebody that is the pick your brain folks, which is my favorite. I'm going to pick your brain.
I'd like to take you to lunch and pick your brain.
Exactly. My response is, it's going to be a very expensive lunch, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, over time, I've developed a pretty good sense, I think, of who's just trying to take and who's trying to actually add value. And when it's a taker, I will just keep pushing them back into sort of the social media realm and say, hey, look, Eric, you know what? I'm going to answer that, but instead of answering you at lunch, why don't you give me a list of questions and I'll answer them on a Facebook Live so that everybody in my community can get the benefit of having our time together. Right. And if it goes
brilliant.
And so I'm going to always try to, if I think somebody's just in it to take, I'm going to hit a point where I'm going to put them back into the sales process. Or if it gets really obnoxious, I'll just simply say, Eric, hey, look, here's the deal. Let me just ask you flat out. What is it going to take to have you invest in our mastermind program? So this comes up for me a lot, actually, because we run a mastermind program and a business coaching program. And I'll have people that say, hey, I want to take you to lunch and pick your brain. I'm like, well, great. What are we going to talk about? Well, I'm a real estate agent and I need to sell more houses. I'm like, you know what's awesome? Why don't I put you on the phone with somebody that's in real estate in our mastermind program and see if the program's even a fit for you? Well, I'm not really into a program. Awesome. Then I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to introduce you to 2 or 3 people that I think you're going to really get some value out of their stuff. And they're probably a better fit for you. Here's, Bigger Pockets podcast. Here's a link to some book on Amazon that I'm an affiliate for, right? Whatever it is. But you're going to have those anyways. But what I found, Eric, is that the people that are takers, they usually kind of fall into 2 categories. They either are broke and broken and don't have a lot of people that they can even reach out to, or they think they're so arrogant because they've got a big list or they've got a big following that they should get stuff for free, which is cool. But then let's figure out how we work together and maybe we do a joint project together.
Yeah, I get that. When I get almost a third category of those people, which is the entitled, which is totally. I'm here doing this and you should just be helping me because we're friends or we know each other from another group or something along those lines. And so that's kind of where it gets sticky for me too.
Yeah. And in that third group, the entitled group, I will always meet somebody in that group. I will always meet them ego to ego. So what I'll say is I'm like, okay, cool. You want to take me to lunch? Well, hey, why don't you and I go to dinner on a Friday? Oh, well, I can't. I got my kid's basketball game. Well, yeah, but this is important. I think you and I should go to dinner. Well, I'm not going to give up family time. Oh, so we've got some boundaries. Okay, cool. So now you understand when I say I don't have time to go to lunch, you understand why, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So it comes down to not rewarding bad behavior, basically.
Absolutely. And Eric, just going back to the networking event idea.
Yeah.
we didn't get too deep into this, but the reason why I go to networking events isn't to sell my stuff. It's actually sort and sift through the people there that have influence and the ones that don't. And the ones that have influence, I'm going to really try to promote and build a relationship with for the long term, not any short-term gain. So when you go to a networking event and you and your partner go there, go position yourself as a buyer. I've literally stood up at those stupid 30-second commercials and goes, I'm not even going to tell you a single thing about what I do. Don't ask me what I do. But what I am telling you is I've got a checkbook and I'm ready to buy stuff. Come talk to me. And I audition them and let them come sell me all their stuff. First off, I want to know what's in the marketplace. Second, I want to know how bad their presentations are. Third, I want to see what products I can support. And fourth, I want to see who might be a potential person for me to hire and bring on a podcast or do a show with or hire and bring into my network.
Excellent. That's brilliant, man. I love it. It's a whole different mindset when you're going in there. Is I know they're going to pitch me anyway, so I might as well just allow it, go with that flow, and then see who I can meet from there.
Yeah,
Love it.
Eric, the funny thing is, try this. I do this all the time. Go to a networking event and make it a goal that you are not going to say a single time what you actually do. If somebody says, oh, but what do you do, Eric? You know what? This is so much more about you. I'm trying to learn way more about you, Eric. So tell me a little bit more about your chiropractor business. I just flip it. And as soon as they get angry, well, yeah, but you just show up here, you're not telling. Like, you know what I do? Here's the funny thing, Eric. I believe that all chiropractors need X. And what I do is I help those chiropractors get there. There we got out what I do. I help people just like you. Well, what do you do? Doesn't really even matter. This isn't a thing. I'm here so much more to learn about you. Hey, Sally, come over here. You got to listen to what this dude Eric says. And then I bring in a second person. And then when it gets really obnoxious, I pull the line that gets me out of every networking event that goes bad in the first place, which is I got to pee. So I'll bring in Sally, let Sally and the three of us have a chat. And they're like, hey guys, I got to pee and I'm out. It's a fun game.
Yeah. No, I'm going to do that for now. I'm going to keep a scorecard too. I'll design a scorecard. I'll get it over to you and we'll do like almost networking bingo. We'll see how much of that we can do.
I love it.
Great. Thanks, Casey. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Eric. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're cracking me up here. Like, how many times do I have to go to the bathroom and how many times are they going to see me not heading to the bathroom? It's like, hey, I got to pee. Hi, someone else.
Hey, if my feeling is if they follow you into the bathroom, then get their credit card because they're a buyer.
There you go. So let's end with two things. One is the question from before. We've never touched on I never told her what I'm doing, right? And then in the second time, she is introducing me to everybody else. We're talking about the Yapper. So we said we're only supporting the Yapper. We're sending them some gifts. We're touching them in different times. And now in the second networking meeting, we're just standing next to her or him and letting them map about us. So how do they even know what we do?
So here's the best part. They don't even have to know what they do because there's a chance they're going to mess the whole thing up in the first place, right? So let's just take Efat. I send Efat a mug and a water bottle, and I've promoted her stuff on Facebook, and I've invited her on my podcast or whatever. Now I go to a networking event, and I just stand next to her. She doesn't even know what I do, but she's going to literally tell every single person that is within earshot how I made her feel. Oh my gosh, he sent me these brownies. They were unbelievable. He sent me a mug with my name on it. It's like amazing. And I don't even know what he does and blah, 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 blah. What she's just told everybody is I'm the dude.
Yep.
Now I'm going to get approached sideline and say, hey, what is it that we do? How do we get brownies? How do we get a mug? How do we get our picture taken? How do we get on? Awesome. Well, here, and now I'm just basically back to auditioning people. I come from the film business, so I used to oversee casting offs. I mean, I was a film producer, but part of it was casting, right? Mm-hmm. That's all auditioning to see if somebody plays the part right. Well, the part that they're auditioning for is to be a part of my network. So if they screw the audition up, we're just moving on. I don't need everybody in my network. Going back to what Eric says, I'm auditioning them and moving the plate lickers to the side.
Yeah, you're like, where's Sally? I have a few people to introduce you to.
Exactly. Sally, come over here. I got to pee again.
So Elaine on LinkedIn says, that's a really astute customer service. And Scott Carson on LinkedIn says, hey, what's up, Casey? What up? What up? So what I love about everything that you shared is a few things. One, how do you become Oprah? You get the Oprah attitude, the mindset. I'm not selling. I'm here to help. How can I make you feel good? And you let other people talk about you, and you are totally present in the conversation. And what also happens is that you don't have to remember any elevator pitch or 6 seconds of like, how do I explain what I do and all that jazz. When does that become a thing for you? When do you go into what you do? At like what point of the presentation are you like, okay, this is how I can help you?
I know this is going to sound a little counterintuitive, but I try to hold off on that as long as possible. And the reason is because I truly believe that people try to go for the sale way too early. Mm-hmm. And if you ask a bunch of questions and you really get to know someone, then your ability to serve them a solution to their problem becomes far more credible. Right?
Yeah.
So if somebody says to me, what do I do? And I've kind of danced around, I'm like, well, I help people in the internet marketing space, or I help network marketers, or I help chiropractors make more money, or whatever. I'm really going to see if I can hone down into something that I do that meets their problem where it is, and see if there's some way I can show them what I do versus just tell them what I do.
I love it.
Right? So I'll give a small example. I love sending personalized coffee mugs. I've talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Right? Well, the number of people that say to me, hey, how do I get a mug? Because I go stand next to a Yap job. The Yap job says, oh my gosh, I got this really cool mug. Well, how do I get a mug? Well, let me get your name and I'll send you a mug. And I'll send them a mug with their name on it, or their logo on it, or their picture on it. Well, 9 times out of 10, they're like, that's awesome. What do you do? My first question is, well, how did you feel when you got that mug? I felt amazed. I like opened it up to this, wow, like awesome. So what we do is we help people have the same exact reaction about your company that you had about me.
I love it.
Bam, easy, in and out, right? Oh, well, what do you really do? Well, we work with business owners that are committed to producing extraordinary results. Well, how do you do that? Well, we've run a business mastermind coaching program. And then I will say, look, I'm not the guy you call to grow your business 10% a year. I'm just not the guy. It's boring. It's not my bag. Plenty of YouTube videos will help you with that. I'm a guy you call in when you truly are committed to growing 50, 60, 70, 80, 100% year over year. I'm the guy that you call in. Our results are typical.
I love that.
You know, so
that's the biggest thing. When you put that in the thing where you're like result, and I was like, I'm reading it a few times, because most of the time results are not typical. I love it. You say they are.
Well, but they are. I mean, so often we try to hide behind what we do, and then we try to give all these disclaimers. I'm like, look, our mastermind program, we have a 90% renewal rate. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Go talk to somebody else that has a mastermind program and ask them what their renewal rate is. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to sit between 25 and 45%.
Yep.
Why are we
all,
90?
Right?
What?
If at all. Most masterminds, you know, people like what, a month or two.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
And that's because I think a lot of people don't have a good experience journey for the customer.
Yeah.
They're looking for the same, you know, it's like, you and I both speak at events all over the world. I mean, how many times do you just sit back in the room and go, if I was an audience member, this would be absolutely awful. Mm-hmm. And if I don't get out of here, like in 2 seconds, I'm like, my skin's going to crawl off. Like it's gross.
Yeah. And it's not even a lot of people invest so much money in the fanciness of the event, right? Like the fancy hotel and the banners and the stuff. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We all come there to meet other people and build those relationships. And when that doesn't happen, then all that fancy stuff doesn't do anything. So we'll finish with two things. One, Scott Carson is saying, should I wear this shirt to stand out at a networking event? I love your shirt. That's what he's saying. So the shirt that you're wearing right now, Scott is into it.
Oh, thank you, Scott. I'm sure I can find you some affiliate link to go buy one. You know, look, here's my question. I've been asked this before. Should I really do something like, you know, like if I'm the computer doctor, should I wear a doctor's frock? You know, if I'm, you know, should I stand out in the crowd? Here's my question. Would Oprah do that?
No.
Would Oprah do that, or would she just walk in and basically have the position like, I'm Oprah. You want to come talk to me? I'm happy to talk to you. You want me to shout out your book? That's awesome. Let me go to your page and see if you've shouted out my book. Right? Do you know anything about me? So I don't think you have to be so novelty driven in terms of trying to stand out, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to stand out to people that you don't actually even serve, who cares?
Yep. Yeah, vanity numbers. So we're gonna end this with showing you how you guys can get more referrals than you can handle. And the easiest way to do that is to go to thatgeek.com/live. Right to the right of the video, there is a book cover that you can click on and go directly to Casey's website and download that for free. And I think you just updated your website and you have like 20 resources or something. Tell me about that. What is
Yeah, so literally, like, as we're doing this live, it's funny because my phone is buzzing off because they're behind the scenes, like testing frantically and making sure it all works. So if you guys go to expandthebusiness.com, or you go to the link right there on there it is right there. To the right of the video, or to the left of the video, I can't remember. I'm on, with the Zoom going backwards. We've got a really cool thing for you. So I'm going to tell you what it is just from a service perspective, and then you guys can go check it out. So when you go there, we have a guide and a checklist of 20 different ways for you to follow up with new people that you've met, and blurbs and paragraphs on each of them. So we did one as a guide, which is actually explanation of each of the 20. And then I did a quick checklist so that you could take 20 different ways, because so often Fortune's in the follow-up, but we don't follow up.
Yep.
So we don't follow up because we don't know what ways people want to follow up. So we put 20 of them together. You got a guide and a checklist. It's free, obviously. You just tell me where to send it. And then the next page, I say, hey guys, look, I want to send you something in the mail, right? And some of you are going to get greeting cards. Some of you are going to get some brownies. Some of you are going to get some other gifts. And that is a way for me to introduce my way to connect with, my way to help serve. And then we say, hey, go check out an event we're doing on networking. But here's the thing, guys. It's just, if you really look at the way I'm walking you through the same process, I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I want to stay in touch. I want to follow up. There's a high likelihood you're going to get a call from me personally that says, hey, Eric, thanks for logging in. Thanks for jumping on my email list. I really appreciate you. Who does that? Most of the time we're trying to get in.
And I was like, okay, so when you opt in, are you asking for people's phone number or just their name and email? So how do you get their phone number to be like, hey, thanks for joining?
So what I'm going to do is if unless there's like just so many I can't keep up, but normally I'm going to say, hey, let me go follow up with this person on social media. So I'm actually going to go look, I'll pull their name. I'll go find them on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever. And I'll follow them and I'll say, hey, thanks for jumping on my email list. I'd love to have a quick chat to see how I can help serve you in your business.
I love that. That is brilliant. So you are like going against all internet marketing and automations, and you are like using technology to really build human connections with other people, which is like the next level of everything that I know. I love it. It's fantastic.
All I'm doing is understanding that connectivity is today's new currency. And in the internet marketing day and age, in the internet space, we are missing a large chunk of money. Yep. By not serving people that are actually working their butts off at their job to earn the money to actually invest in our courses or our products or our goods or our services. It is never lost on me for 1 second that somebody that invests, whether it's $4, $400, or $4,000 with me, it is never lost on me for 1 second that this is a human being that has chose to invest in something that I sell or promote. It's my job to make that person invest their money with me and send me a thank you card at the end. That's my goal.
I love it. And I wish more people had that same feeling and not going like automation, bots, AI, how do we not talk to anyone ever again and just have stuff?
Yeah.
Amazing. Eric said he just clicked and went through the process, and you can tell your people that it's working perfectly. So everybody to the right,
Perfect.
click that and dive into Casey's world, because it's a wonderful world to be a part of. If you are online and you feel disconnected and you're missing some human emotional connection, that's the guy to not only connect with, but pick up some lessons and model and do what he does, because we need more of those social connections between us. The world is just filled with lonely people. We're all depressed. We're all broke. We all need that, someone that care. And if you are that person that care in your little community, you're making such an impact that is priceless. So thank you so much, Casey, for being here. I know we went like way over, but this was lovely.
And Eva, thank you so much for doing what you do and bringing your community together and bringing in speakers and trainers and guests and just super interesting people into your show and into your world. It is a true, it's a true honor to have been asked to be a part of this show. And I just want to also say a huge thank you to anybody and everybody that's like hung out with us for the last 90 minutes and got a chance to hang. So it's a true honor. I appreciate it.
And thank you so much. Thank you so much. And then, guys, one slide last time. Referrals right there to the right of the video. Go through the process. Thank you so much, Stephanie and Stacy and Valentino and the people on Twitch that I can't know your usernames. We will see you again in 2 weeks on I'm That Geek Show in real time, face to face. Until then, go and spread some love and be good to some people. Thanks so much, Casey.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.